Hey everyone, this is Gnovat. So we just had the ban list announcement, and the ban list is going to be effective just about the time where Burst Protocol release. So instead of making a reaction video, I actually wanted to bring you a video on how to fix the Justice Huntress decks after the ban list. So Dracotail, Yummy, and for K9 I went with Vanquish Soul, of course. So what you see in front of you is my current branded Dracotail list for Burst Protocol that I've been testing with more or less, and now with the ban list in mind. So one Mululu, one Kitu. The blueprint for this, funnily enough, was Danilo's list, where he only mained one Rahu. So we just swapped the ratios of Kitu and Rahu, and we have the spells here. But the Mululu thing is a bit harder to fix now. You can run more Cartesias, but we just have like one Cartesia and two Fawn of the White Dragon, which can go into Cartesia. Of course, it's not the same because you have to do some extra steps to actually get here. But generally, those are like fusion enablers. We have a ratio of 2 and 1 for the White Dragon and the OG Albas. I'm a believer in this ratio, and I think it's pretty standard in the OCG as well. I want to make a video on this card separately, so there I will talk more about why I think this ratio is correct. So for now, just stick with me here. And for the rest, we have 3 Urgula, of course, because it's good in the mirror, and I expect a lot of them. We run 1 Fawn of the Virtues in the main deck, just so that we can get it for free off of the White Dragon. And we have 12 non-engine here. You can cut these down, the Perulias, to get more Cartesias if you want. Magnamut is really good because it gets you Mululu or Fawn of the White Dragon, so 2 very good play starters. And then in the side deck, I have some options. What you can run. You see there's a lot of contested slots for the extra deck. For example, the second Albion, I took that out for the Alba Lenados, because generally you can send it, like if you want to send something to get a brand fusion, you can just send this. But more importantly, in the mirror, I've seen a lot of people testing with Dragon's Mind, and that is a counter trap that is active if they have like Arthalion on the field. But if you run Alba Lenados, your Fawn of the White Dragon checks that without using your normal summon and already sending something to the graveyard. So basically you threaten to take away the Arthalion to make your Lenados. And on the other hand, Alba Lenados cannot be used as fusion material, so if you run Dragon's Mind, then you can just make an Alba Lenados with this, and that works because it has 2500, and they cannot fuse it away for their own Alba Lenados, so your counter trap is safe. So that's why I run this card. The rest of the extra deck is very standard. We still play the Sanctifier Dragon, and some options would be the Shauros, which is not a bad card, especially with 1 Kitu. You can shuffle back, but it's very hard to fit. Then we have Draco Berserk of the Tenyi, which I've seen some lists run just because it's another Synchro 8 that you can make. Right now we only have the Ecclesia. Cross Sheep, one of my favorites, but I think you just don't have the space for this. And of course you can play or side more Fawn the Virtuous. Just be careful not to play too many non-monsters. It's still a Dracotail deck. So this deck was not that hard to fix. Of course, I think you will feel the Mululu hit when you play with it. Like, it doesn't look like much, but it actually, like, if you play with it, you will feel it. The rest of the deck is very, very standard, and it's going to be a top contender, I'm pretty sure. Then we have Vanquish Soul. I am so happy that they reverted the hits on Raisin and Stake Your Soul, and that we have hits to K9 instead. My preferred hit would have been a ban on Ripper, but you can't have everything, right? This is pretty good still as far as unbans goes, so we can max out the Raisin again, max out Stake Your Soul. You have a good Vanquish Soul portion, and now the deck is more of a Vanquish Soul deck again. I'm still playing some K9s because they have good attributes, Dark and Earth, and Izuna is generally a good card, and you can access it with your Vanquish Soul engine because you can just make 2 5s into Ripper, and then you can grab an Izuna or something. Hand traps, we have 12 slots again, 14 actually with this, but we have to run Impulse for the fire attribute, and so you don't have much flexibility here for that. Running with a pot package, I'm gonna go over the other options just in a second, but I just want to focus on the Vanquish Soul part of this. And nothing much else to say. Of course, you can play more Jiaolongs if you want to, but for now I have the Impulse package, and I'm running the Jiaolong at 1 here, and You can also, of course, choose to, again, go more into a K9 direction. Noroi is still at 3. You can run Lantern, which gives you more grind game in that part of the engine, and then you can run Chaotic Elements for consistency, and Chaotic Elements can get you a Dark Monster, basically. So, not as good as Case for K9, because Case for K9 can get 2, but it would be another consistency piece. Now, because I have Extrav, our extra deck looks like this with a lot of duplicates. If you don't want to run Extrav, you can also include something like the Nash Knight package or Charmers, but generally I like just drawing 2 and playing with Vanquish Soul, especially with Droll now at 2. I think you're not getting punished that much for the Extrav anymore. So that is a very basic Vanquish Soul K9 list. I actually got the core before the ban list announced. I got 3 Stake Your Soul, 3 Raisin, and I'm so happy that I did, because they went up in price after that, but now I can play something like this. So that is the easier fixes. Now let's go into Yummy, which received a huge hit because like Snatchy 2-1 cuts off a lot of your grind game. Just only having 1 Snatchy really hurts. So one version that a lot of people are gravitating towards is the Tri-brigade Yummy version, which is going to be enabled with the Spring and Skid. You can already bridge both ways, I believe, without this card, but this card just makes it actually viable, because before that it was a bit weird to bridge, but now it's actually really good. So we are running, this is the list of my friend Jordan, and this is, I think, 1-to-1. I took out the side deck for the options, but this is basically his list. He had 1 free slot, so I put in the Chimera, and I'm gonna go over that in a second. But we just have a bunch of Naomi names. You have the 1-for-1 to access them, or the Nerval. We have a Tri-brigade engine. We are going with Revolt here. You can of course go Hammer, but because you only have 1 Snatchy, your grind game is severely hurt, and Revolt actually gives you a lot of follow-up. So very valuable card for that. So right now we are running this. And as you can see, Yummy still has a bunch of non-engine space. We have the 1 DD Crow because we can search it with Shurake, and that's a useful card to have. And still 2 field spells because we are still a Yummy deck, but generally this felt actually pretty decent. I wasn't the biggest believer in hybrid Yummy, but this felt decent. For other options, you can of course run Tenki for more access to Fractal, which is your best starter, but Tenki is a continuous spell, and we're going to have MST in the next meta, so I would shy away from this card. Then we have Extra Deck. Similarly to the branded Dracotail list, we have some contested slots. Now, the Starham is no longer that important because we don't have Herald, but it is still an option for the extra. You could play a Link Karibo because it's basically 2 Link 1s for your engine, since we lost a Snatchy or 2 Snatchies. We have the Link Spider for Nibiru lines. We have SP Little Knight just for utility and also Nibiru protection. And we have the dragon that devours the dogma. Now this is a beast, even though it is dragon in name. So you can send it off the Bucephalus, and with the Bucephalus sending this, the Bucephalus is going to be sent from Mauser. You can send this and then you can grab the Fallen and the Virtues in end phase. You would have to play an Albion because this just adds, it doesn't set. So you'd have to play an Albion with that and then pop something of your own cards to set another Fallen and the Virtues. That's why I took it out. And another option for the dragon that devours the dogma, though, is the Tri-brigade Hammer, which you can activate in end phase to make a Shurake, and you don't care about Nib because it's the end phase. One disadvantage of the Yummy hybrids is you cannot play Dominus Purge anymore. Purge is really good, especially against Kitu. Now, luckily, Kitu went to 1, so they won't hard draw it anymore. So your plan against Kitu is they set it and you get rid of it with either like an Akruki or with the Shurake Banish. Which sometimes you want to end on Shurake and then you just have the surprise, and at any point you surprise a Yummy back, you can banish something non-targeting. Really, really good. Yeah, we talked about the Bucephalus, we have the 2 Mausers, we have the other Tri-brigades, the Bearbrum to access our Revolt. We have the Almirage, which is a utility slot, but having a hand trap plus a Yummy means that Almirage can make your combo better. We have a gravity controller. This is the stand-in for the second Snatchy. So what you're gonna do a lot of the times is you're gonna summon like your normal Cupsy line, your normal Yummy line, summon Cupsy Yummy Way in the X summons zone, you add your 2 names, then you summon 1 name, and then you make a gravity controller, and then you go into Lollipo, and then you have 4 bodies, and you can do whatever you want. We also have the double Dragonaut. This is a Tri-brigade staple. I don't think it's mandatory, but it's a good card. And then for the last slot, this wasn't in Jordan's list. I put it in with the Bucephalus because I think this package is really, really interesting, and that is Chimera, the King of Canton Beast. So this card has a lot of text, but the only thing we care about is during your opponent's turn, you can banish this card from your graveyard and target 1 beast, fiend, or illusion monster in your graveyard, special summon it. So because we only have 1 Snatchy, if your opponent gets rid of it, you have the surprise, but if they get like rid of it again, it's pretty tough. So you can just park this in the grave and you have a free surprise alongside your field, which just gives you more layering on top of your Yummy field. So you can also bring back one of the Synchros. And this also triggers Shurake, of course, because you summon a beast. So this is a pretty nice piece to have in the graveyard. And since Mouser sends 2, you can just send a Bucephalus, you can send a Nerval, and then Nerval grabs you whatever Tri-brigade you need, and you send the Chimera for the Bucephalus for more layering. So yeah, that is Yummy Tri-brigade. I forgot to talk about Tri-brigade Oath. This is another card you can send off of Mouser, because this sends Tri-brigade cards, but I believe Kit can also send any card. Let me double check before I lie to you. You can send 1 Tri-brigade card, yeah. So you have access 2 ways to Tri-brigade Oath, and this you need all 3 tri-types on the board, but it can negate a face-up spell trap your opponent controls. This is a very valuable side deck piece against Dracotail, because if they start fusing, generally we don't have Herald anymore. We are very vulnerable to that. That's why I'm so sad that we don't have Purge anymore. But this is an option maybe for the side deck into Dracotail, and that way you can maybe stop a Branded Fusion or a Rahu into your board. So that is the Yummy Tri-brigade list. There is another Yummy list, but that is not going to be viable until Maze of Muertos, and that is Shining Sarcophagus Yummy. So hear me out here. I got this idea from Lilith. If you're a German YouTuber, I can link it down, YouTube watcher, then I can link it down below the channel. Very nice for German content, but if you're not familiar with the Shining Sarcophagus line, is that Shining Sarcophagus can once per turn add a monster that mentions it. So we run the Dark Magician Girl, which can be special summoned by discarding 1 card, and then you can add 1 Shining Sarcophagus. So you have this 3 times. You discard a card, you get the Shining Sarcophagus, you can activate it, grab any other Shining Sarcophagus card. We also run the Gandora G, we can get to that in a second. And then you basically replace the discard, and that card like you can just use for the Cupsy Yummy Way discard. But more importantly, in Maze of Muertos we will get Dark Magician of Destruction, which can be summoned by using a level 6 or higher Dark Spellcaster. During the turn you activate a spell card. So this is a spell card, this is your spellcaster, you banish it, you summon this, and on summon it can add a Dark Magician or a card that mentions it to your hand. This can be Magician Souls. So you can put this in the EMZ, link it off for Gravity Controller, then you summon Magician Souls by sending your last copy of Dark Magician Girl, which is also really nice. Like if you don't run Future Silence, the engine basically removes itself from your deck, so you don't draw any bricks anymore. But yeah, this is a level 1. You can use this effect to send the Sarcophagus from your field to draw a card, so you go plus while you do that, and then you can just make the Cupsy Yummy Way. Furthermore, you can also, if you already have a like a Yummy name, you can make this guy. You don't need to add the Magician Souls. Instead, you're going to add the Gaze of Timaeus, which is, I think, a side deck card, but this card basically can shuffle back a Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl to fusion summon a monster that mentions it. This card is treated as Dark Magician in the graveyard. So you link this off, you activate Gaze of Timaeus, and you make Dragoon before you go into any Yummy combo. So now you have a Dragoon, to protect you from hand traps, but also as a boss monster that is really hard to out. Dracotail only has one Mululu left, so with only one Mululu, that's their out, or Murajade. So, but this is going to be a hard piece to out because it's also a negate, right? So that is what the engine can offer you. We have the Future Silence, which is just more consistency for this. I just put it in here. You don't need to run this, but it also has a battle phase effect where both players draw until you have 6 cards in hand. So sometimes you can just swing a game with that. The last piece of the engine is Gandora G, the Dragon of Destruction. This is also a searchable monster. This is optional, but going second, if you control Shining Sarcophagus, you can special summon this card, and then on the field you can pay half your life points, destroy as many cards on the field as possible, and if you do, banish them, then special summon one level 7 or lower monster that mentioned Shining Sarcophagus from your deck, and increase its level. This is not relevant, but this is your going second card, level 8 extender that you can search, and because we have a level 8 now that's accessible, we can of course make rank 8s with the Dark Magician of Destruction, but since our Yummies are level 2 tuners, we can run Despater, because this is a non-tuner dragon monster, which is a good card, but also we can make Light and Dark Chaos Angel, which again helps a lot in the Dracotail matchup, because they don't have good outs to that, right? They only have, I think, the Mirajade end of turn nuke, because that's not an activated effect. But they cannot run over this because it's light and dark, and yeah. Then this version actually has a lot of space in the extra deck, because we only need these 2 cards, and then everything else is optional. I just put the Synchros in because I thought it was cool. At least the Chaos Angel I think I would run. And other than that, Gorgon is just utility because we run IP, and Gorgon is pretty good into Lunar Light, which is going to be popular, I think, and into Arthalion also. They summon the Arthalion, you IP, go into Gorgon, and you at least deny the add back. Gravity Controller, I already explained that. Link Spider, because they have the luxury, same with Link Kuriboh. You can run any like utility pieces you want here, but especially over the Link Kuriboh and the Despater. But I like these pieces, maybe the Almirage too. I like these pieces here. And then because you are so flexible with main deck and extra deck space, you can go back and run a K9 engine. I generally really like this in pure Yummy with Zeus and untargetable Zeus with Tiras, for example, or just the Typhon, or just make a Ripper because it's good into Dracotail. But yeah, this deck has a lot more flexibility. Again, you can cut these, you can cut the Gandora, and then you can cut the Synchros. And you still have a very, very efficient engine, and you won more space in the main deck, so you could play like the K9 package and the Zeus stuff. And yeah, this feels more akin to actual pure Yummy as we had it before, unlike the Tri-brigade Yummy, which I think still is pretty decent mid-rangey type of deck because you still don't end on too much. But yeah, this is what I probably would do with Yummy. Other versions I didn't really look at. Don't see a lot of potential in there, but maybe someone will come up with something interesting. But that is my 3 or 4 decks for post Burst Protocol and post Maze of Murderers. Let me know in the comments which one of these you like the most, or if there's another version of Dracotail, Yummy, or Vanquish Soul K9 that you would run. And I'll start doing the Albus thing. I know that a lot of people want to watch some Dracotail stuff again. We finally have something to do again. We have ban list and we have a new set coming, so expect more content coming soon. But that's gonna be it, and I'll see you next time.